I'd like to call the Onslow County Board of Commissioners meeting for Monday, May 6th, 2024 to order at this time. We'll start first with our Assistant County Manager, Carrie Sanders, leading us in the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Sanders?
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you and conduct the business of Onslow County. Today, as we declare May as Foster Care Awareness Month and Older Americans Month, we pray for strength for our foster families and our community. Father, as we recognize National EMS Week and National Hospital Week, we pray you will keep all emergency services and hospital personnel safe as they perform their duties at the risk of their own safe and well-being. Amen. Now, with deep respect and reverence for the faiths, beliefs, and traditions of those gathered here today, hear us in a moment of silence. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. I'd like to recognize the elected officials with us this morning. Mika Jarman is here with us from our Register of Deeds. And then Alderman from North Topsail Beach, Mr. Rick Grant. We appreciate you. You two are always here with us, and we appreciate you coming and attending. We ask that all in attendance please set your cell phones to silent or vibrate mode. The board offers the public one opportunity to speak during the meeting. Comments should be limited to no more than 5 minutes and may be on any issue upon which the Board of Commissioners has control. In accordance with the board's adopted rules of procedure, commissioners shall reserve responses, if any, for the commissioner's comment period on the agenda. So we'll move right into adoption of today's agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'm requesting that after the commissioner's comments and before adjournment that we add in a closed session for attorney-client privilege. And just for the, if this was approved, just for the public's knowledge, there will be no action taken following that attorney-client privilege session except to come back in and adjourn.
Okay. Can we have a motion?
Motion to amend the agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries.
Motion to approve the adopted agenda, amended agenda.
Motion. Second.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, or any discussion? All in favor of the approving the agenda as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, agenda has been adopted. Now moving to the approval of the items on the consent agenda. We'll ask for that to be approved unless we have someone that has an item on there where they would like to have removed and considered separately at the end of the meeting.
Chairman Foster, I'd like to remove item J and have it placed on the agenda, please.
Second.
So we have item J. We'll take off the consent agenda and move to the end of the meeting. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries. So we'll move right into presentations and our proclamations this morning, and I think Ms. Sanders will be taking care of those for us.
Our first proclamation this morning is Older Americans Month 2024. Whereas May is Older Americans Month, a time for us to recognize and honor Onslow County's older adults and their immense influence on every facet of American society. And whereas through their wealth of life experience and wisdom, older adults guide our younger generations and carry forward abundant cultural and historical knowledge. And whereas older Americans improve our communities through intergenerational relations, community service, civic engagement, and many other activities. And whereas communities benefit when people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds have the opportunity to participate and live independently. And whereas Onslow County must ensure that older Americans have the resources and support needed to stay involved in their communities, reflecting our commitment to inclusivity and connectedness. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the Onslow County Board of Commissioners acknowledges May 2024 as Older Americans Month in Onslow County. This year's theme, Powered by Connection, emphasizes the profound impact of meaningful interactions and social connection on the well-being and health of older adults in our community. The Onslow County Board of Commissioners calls upon all residents to join us in recognizing the contributions of our older adults and promoting programs and activities that foster connection, inclusion, and support for older adults, presented this 6th day of May 2024.
My definition of older Americans, I guess, has been a moving target throughout my life. When I was 10 or 12, it was in your 50s, you were old, yeah, and of course I was a kid, so, and then as I got older, it continued to bump up, and where I am now, I guess I'm a part of that group, I guess some would say. So, but as I went through my life, I went back and think about who are the greatest people I've learned from. My granddaddy is probably smarter than any person I've ever had any contact with. And a guy that I learned a lot from of just common sense and wisdom. And so that's the thing that we need to take from our older Americans and learn from them is their wisdom and what they have to offer. And so to never forget that. So that's very important. And we thank you all for all you do with this senior services. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. This year's theme for older Americans is Powered by Connections. And at the Senior Center, we recently moved to 4955 Richlands Highway for those out in G10 land. So come by and see us. And at this time, while we celebrate, I've asked Shelley Ashley to talk a little about what we're doing this month to celebrate the power of connections. Shelley?
Hi, this month with our seniors, we provide activities all day long, but during the month of May, they know that it's Older Americans Month, so they look forward to a lot of different things. So we try to put a little spin on things that we do for them. So now we have donuts with the director coming up. So yeah, they're looking forward to that. And then we have a music bingo. We have found that connecting seniors with music is one of the biggest things that we can do. So we have a musical bingo coming up. So we add things to it. People may think, you know, oh my goodness, all the senior center does is play bingo. Absolutely not. But when you turn music or exercise into bingo, they love it just as well. One other thing we have that they're super looking forward to is to dress your decade. And so they keep asking us as staff, are we going to dress our decade? And I said, no, I'm not telling you. But I've told them for years, because I've been there almost 30 years, that they know that it's time for me to dress my decade. So we look really forward to it. Thank you.
Our next proclamation is Foster Care Month 2024, and representatives from Onslow County Social Services will accept the proclamation, and Chairman has requested that Vice Chairman Knapp present the proclamation. Our proclamation reads, whereas the theme of National Foster Care Month is engaging youth, building supports, strengthening opportunities. This theme helps shine a light on how we can best support young people and help them successfully transition to adulthood. And whereas we recognize we must take a holistic and culturally responsive approach to supporting the mental health needs of children and youth in foster care and their caregivers, and whereas maintaining relationships with relatives and kin can increase stability, reduce trauma, and help children maintain a sense of family, belonging, and identity. And whereas stable, nurturing placements have positive impacts on children and youth's resilience and long-term well-being. And whereas effective training and support for foster parents will improve retention, increase placement stability, and increase the capacity to help children and youth in care navigate life's challenges. And whereas we take time to renew our commitment to ensuring a bright future for children and youth in foster care, and acknowledge foster parents, family members, fictive kin, mentors, and child welfare professionals who make a meaningful difference in their lives. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the Onslow County Board of Commissioners hereby acknowledges May 2024 as Foster Care Month, presented this 6th day of May 2024.
Good, I got some people my height, I can see eye to eye. So I took a special interest in foster care because I think it's very important. Too many times, from a law enforcement background, we see young kids that are out on the streets and, they didn't have the proper leadership or proper care at home. I mean, children are our most valuable asset. I have 4 grown kids myself. And fortunately, they turned out really good, and I'm really proud of them. But unfortunately, we don't have people or kids out there that can say that. But what strikes me about foster care is about the people that volunteer, that step up to become foster care parents. It's real difficult to be a parent to begin with your own children, but to reach out and get someone else that you don't know, that you're not biologically related to. There could be cultural differences, just to take that child in, to nurture them, to love them, and to make sure that they get the proper education and they're taught correctly the principles of what makes a family. And I think that's very, very important, because we see a lot of mental health issues with the younger kids nowadays, and mental health is a big issue, and that's because of the influence or lack thereof that they don't have. So I commend the people that step up and go to become foster parents. I commend the program that gets involved with foster care, and I think it's just an integral part of our country, and it's an integral part of what we do in society, so congratulations. Go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner Knapp and the Board of Commissioners for adopting the proclamation declaring May as Foster Care Month. This month is set aside to bring specific awareness to the youth in foster care, especially those young adults, the teenagers. At this point in time, our agency has 103 children in foster care. So we are looking at having a foster care class beginning in June, and we're asking that if anyone that is interested in becoming a foster care, so that we can continue to meet the needs of the children that we have in our care, to make sure they become self-sufficient and make sure they have someone who is willing to support and give them the care that they need while they are out of their home. So again, on behalf of Onslow County DSS, we thank you for accepting the proclamation and declaring May Foster Care Month.
Our next proclamation is Onslow Memorial's 80th anniversary, and staff from Onslow Memorial's executive team will accept this proclamation. May 12th through May 18th, 2024, whereas hospitals serve as a foundation for health care with goals to provide equitable access to quality care, strengthen our communities, support public health, and invest in research and quality improvement to build a better and healthier future. And whereas this year we celebrate our community's hospital, Onslow Memorial Hospital, on 80 years of providing quality health care to the residents of Onslow County and surrounding communities. And whereas Onslow Memorial Hospital has been a pillar of service to the community through strong partnerships, employment, volunteerism, governance, outreach, and financial contributions, and generations of Onslow County families have relied on the hospital's services for their health care needs. And whereas the longevity of Onslow Memorial Hospital can be attributed to its exceptional team of healthcare professionals who work tirelessly to provide quality care when our community members need it the most, from direct care staff, administrative staff, support staff, volunteers, and board members. Each individual plays a crucial role in upholding the hospital's commitment to excellence. And whereas Onslow Memorial Hospital has anchored the health and well-being of the Onslow County community and surrounding areas for 80 years and will continue to do so in the future. And now therefore be it proclaimed that the Onslow County Board of Commissioners declares the week of May 12th through May 18th, 2024, not only National Hospital Week in Onslow County, but also Onslow Memorial Hospital Week, and encourages all citizens to join together in thanking Onslow Memorial Hospital for its dedication in upholding the strong core values that our community has come to know and trust. Presented this day, the 6th day of May 2024.
I was appointed to the hospital board by the Board of Commissioners about 8 years ago, and I've seen so much change in the hospital in that time. From management agreement with UNC Health and the employment of a chief medical officer and much improved financial position. The employees at Onslow Memorial Hospital worked hard through Hurricane Florence, disaster for both the hospital and our community. Through COVID, many challenges that they worked through COVID. And now we celebrate 80 years of service to our community. And I'm proud of what they do. I'm proud of all the employees and the progress that they have made over the years. Our CEO, Dr. Penny Burlingame Deal, has led us through all these crises. And I'm honored to be able to present this proclamation to our leadership today for National Hospital Week in Onslow Memorial Hospital. Would you have something to say?
Oh, sure.
All right.
Come over here. He's part of the team. Happy Hospital Week to everyone. That's right. What an absolute honor and privilege it's been to meet the healthcare needs of everyone in Onslow County. For the last 80 years, if you can believe that, and 80 years in the future, 100 years in the future, we hope to be doing the same. Thank you for your never-ending support, and we appreciate all of you. Thank you, Royce.
Right on cue.
All right, our final proclamation today is Emergency Medical Services Week 2024, May 19th through the 25th. Whereas emergency medical services are a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills, And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Onslow County Board of Commissioners declares the week of May 19th through May 25th, 2024 as Emergency Medical Services Week in Onslow County, with the 50th anniversary of EMS Week theme, EMS Week honoring our past, forging our future. We encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities, presented this 6th day of May, 2024. And the Director of Emergency Services, Norman Bryson, and representatives from EMS will accept the proclamation.
It is such a joy to be able to present this proclamation. Before I was elected, I had the opportunity to start meeting some of these very fine individuals who are standing behind me. And this group, without a shadow of a doubt, is one of the rarest groups. When you volunteer, well, actually, I shouldn't volunteer and then actually get paid, what you get paid, which is nearly not enough, to put yourself in a place which is witnessing tragedies or potential tragedies over and over again. Just the ability to handle that and to continue to serve the citizens of Onslow County in the way that you do, and the way that these people behind me all work together in such a tight-knit, supportive way to help each other and to help the citizens of Onslow County just amazes me every single day. I'm very glad to be up here today to be able to share something that happened with me too, because I don't think you appreciate the significance of these folks until you have someone very close to you whose life is saved because of what they do. And we had a rough start to the beginning of this year. My son's father-in-law had woke up in the middle of the night to, well, I don't even know, it was an episode. And within minutes, there were people on the scene bringing him back to life, not once, but a couple of times. And because of their life-saving efforts that night, this gentleman is now able to, alongside me, enjoy our first grandchild together. So I just cannot thank you all enough, every single one of you, for what you do and saving lives of those in Onslow County. And also for being dedicated in the way that you are, because I had a recent conversation with one of these people, and I love the fact that they see themselves as always on the job, no matter where they are in life, whether they've got their shirts on or they're on an ambulance or they're out in the community, they are always on duty. So please, citizens that are watching this, be sure that you really show your appreciation when you see them this week and all year long, because they are critical to what we do here in Onslow County and how we live so well and so healthy. Thank you so much.
First and foremost, I would like to thank our Board of Commissioners for actually recognizing EMS on this upcoming week. Second of all, I would like to thank all of the individuals that are here with me today and those that are out in the field that were not able to be with us that are part of EMS. It is a wonderful team. They're very hardworking. Over the last couple of years, Onslow County has seen constant increases in our EMS call volume. Last year was over 25,000 calls. We expect to be in that range, if not higher, coming up in this next year as well. Just like Commissioner Carpenter, I have my own story. In this last year, I had a heart attack. And if it was not for our team behind us and personnel coming out to take care of me, I may not be here today. And we're very thankful for them and all that they do. Thank y'all very much.
Okay, we move to item 4, public comment. Mr. Smitherman?
We do not have anyone signed up to speak today, sir.
All right, so we'll move into the consent agenda item that we moved out of the consent agenda to the end of the meeting today. And Mr. DeSalms, if you would.
Yes, sir. I think Mr. Warren was going to present.
Yes, that's it, Mr. Warren. I could not. Thank you for remembering that.
That's okay.
Mr. Warren, come on up.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioner. For your consideration this morning, we have a contract with a suitability and alternatives analysis development for Hines Farm and Onslow Pines Park. As you recall, back at the Board of Commissioners retreat back in January, one of the top 5 goals that came out of that retreat was the expansion of cultural and recreational opportunities. And so we took that and we began to run with it, and the first step was to really identify what facilities and programs we have in place at our park facilities. And so we put out an RFQ to try to solicit a firm to be able to come in and provide this type of study for us. And Alfred Benesh's company was the top firm that submitted a proposal. And just to give you an idea of what this proposal consists of, it's really a 5-step process. They would come in and initially meet with staff to understand what we expect from the process and to begin to gather information and kind of roll into an inventory and suitability analysis of our existing conditions. And so that analysis will do things like conduct a wetlands delineation study for both parks, and it will look at critical habitat and develop assessment reports. It will look at the Parks and Recreation Master Plan that was adopted in 2021 and the feedback the community provided there, and continue to gather additional information on both of these properties to determine what they're capable of supporting and providing. Once they do that, they'll begin to take that information and develop a series of alternatives. And what they'll do, they'll look at, let's say, the existing facilities, the ball fields, and the open space and trails and those types of things. And they'll also look at the programming that we have. We have pretty limited programming right now because of our lack of indoor space, but they'll look at the programs we have right now, the attendance, the desires of the community, and they'll develop these series of alternatives, and then they'll take that to the public. And they'll make sure that the assumptions they're making in developing alternatives are consistent with what the public really wants at these 2 park facilities. And so once they go through that process, they'll develop a range of alternatives to bring back to the Board of Commissioners for your input and feedback, and they'll begin to narrow those alternatives down to try to come up with a single set of alternatives for both Hines Farm and Onslow Pines Park. And once that occurs, they'll put that in a master planning document. Once again, they'll take that back to the public to make sure that we're hitting the marks and we're identifying the highest priorities for the community. And then they'll present a master plan to the Board of Commissioners for your consideration for adoption. And what that will consist of is a list of facility priorities, programming priorities, and a prioritized list and time frame with some anticipated cost for implementing each of those recommendations. And right now we're looking at about a 5-month process to complete this study and have something to bring back for your consideration. So the proposed contract itself is for an amount not to exceed $133,225, and the requested action today is respectfully request the Board of Commissioners consider the approval of the contract with Alfred Benesh and Company in an amount not to exceed $133,225 and authorize the chairman to sign the necessary documents on behalf of the county. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just wanted to make a comment. The reason I had brought this off of the consent agenda was to be sure that the public is aware of what we are doing, because with specifically Hines Farm and Onslow Pines as well, because I know those have both been points of discussion out in the community as to what it is that is going to be happening with those. So I appreciate your sharing all those details with us today, and hopefully that puts some people's minds at ease. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're also, now you mentioned the $225. Are we going to have to amend our budget for this past year to bring this in? Or how's that going to work?
No, so we have some money set aside for special studies, and so we had the funds to be able to cover the cost of the contract.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Warren. So, Mr. Smitherman, manager's comments.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I do want to also acknowledge the EMS professionals and our staff, and glad that we're recognizing them for this week. As the board knows, and many of our citizens probably know also, it's hard to recruit for medics, and our system is always in need of additional personnel. This board made it I believe, their top priority for this year to consider other alternatives for our EMS provision to make sure that we are prepared for the future growth of this community and that we are best able to stand up a system that is responsive to those needs. And we just executed a contract to get that going. We will be working with a firm to explore alternative delivery methods. When I say that, I don't know exactly what that means, but it could be changes in our dispatch protocols, changes in our staging, changes in our the way we staff trucks. I don't know, but we're going to open up the conversation to all options to ensure that we have and we meet our reasonable goal of having the best EMS system in the state, and I think we can do that. I also would like to pay particular acknowledgement to our custodial staff. We have a lot of custodians that make these buildings extremely well kept, and they show well, they smell good, and I've never been anywhere that took care of their buildings so well, and I think it's important from time to time that we recognize those employees that are sometimes unsung but are critical to our operations, and our custodial staff is that group of employees. And then finally today, I'd like to, and the board's aware, but to say for the public's consumption that we have officially begun this board's strategic planning process. It will take us about 12 months to not only align our organization around this board's goals, but to work with our partners in the community to achieve the goals of this board. We have 5 strategic focus areas, and we will be coming up with the action steps necessary to accomplish those goals and engaging with all the stakeholders necessary to make sure we're successful. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. So we'll start with commissioner comments. We'll start with Commissioner Scott. We'll go ahead and jump you right in there.
Well, we're going to go ahead and get it done first. I tell you what, we've got a lot going on, got a lot of good things going on. And not saying that, summer's coming. Please be safe on our waterways with boating and everything else. And be aware of your surroundings. The snakes are crawling. Had an episode at my house. So just be safe. God bless you, and we'll see you at the next meeting.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Price?
Yeah, in the past 2 weeks, I've been pleased to attend the Onslow County Public Library Art Show for Onslow County school students. They did a tremendous job. I mean, you had some 3rd or 4th graders putting out some works of art there that was just really impressive. So I enjoyed that, even though I'm usually not an artsy guy. And it was really good. Also, the previous week we had a workshop where we heard from all the nonprofits that were asking for contributions to help in pursuing goals to help our community. And so I appreciate all the nonprofits coming out and presenting to us so that we can have an idea of how they did, what they do, and how they can fit into reinforcing some of the things that we see as goals for Onslow County government. Also, the Fabric of the Community presentation was really nice. They recognized Charles Eford and his wife, Major James Capers, Dr. Gina Francis, and Pam Thomas posthumously and we thank them and their families for all they've done to contribute to the fabric of our community. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Price. Commissioner Carpenter?
First thing I want to do is just say a thank you to our executive leadership team for the very hard work that you've all been doing since the retreat to immediately jump into action on the priorities that we identified that day. It warms my heart, and it makes me so excited to be part of the board right now, because I do see that we're going to be doing some great things in the community for our citizens as you continue to work on those things. So thank you very much. I did attend a lot of those events that Mr. Price did as well. The highlight of my month is going to be, though, next Friday, the 17th, when we attend the groundbreaking for the Museum of the Marine, which has been long awaited and overdue. And so I hope that, we'll all be there with our shovels together on that Friday, the 17th. And lastly, I just want to say, this coming Sunday is, to me, one of the very most important holidays. It's a day that we acknowledge the people in our world who have made us who we are and who I think have the toughest and most unsung kind of jobs that they do. It's our mothers. So to all the mothers out there, thank you so much, and do not ever take it lightly what you do day in and day out to raise the children that you do to be part of our communities and into the future, the future of what we have in our world. So thank you so much, moms. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Commissioner Carpenter. Commissioner Buchanan?
Thank you. I don't have a whole lot to say. What I want to do is reach out to the paramedics. Dr. Mike is a good friend of mine, and I see him at Hardee's on Saturday and Sunday morning. And the other day, he had to share something with me that is really important to me and to our paramedics. 3 of our paramedics had answered a call on Parkertown Road. This gentleman here has been doing some beekeeping, actually went to our beekeeping school. Anyhow, he was on Parkertown Road and got stung in the head and went into epileptic shock. And if it weren't for our 3 paramedics, he would have died. They had to give him 2 doses to get him revived. And then the paramedics are Michael Jones, Megan Watson, Amelia Ruiz. Those 3 individuals saved his life, and he wanted to make sure I let that be known. I know our paramedics do a lot of stuff, but if it weren't for the gentleman that was with him having a phone, he would have not survived. I want to thank our paramedics. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Buchanan. Commissioner Bennett?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So much of what we do as commissioners is to plan for and prepare for the future, and people hear a snippet here and there about what we're doing. I just wanted to mention a few, and all at the same time here. I mean, some of them have already been mentioned today, but you know, we've got a strategic plan in the works. We've got a comprehensive land use plan in the works. We're planning for the future of our parks and recreation. We're planning for the future of our landfill, solid waste. We're planning for the future of our emergency services. And these are just some of the things that we're working on behind the scenes to kind of make sure that Onslow County is ready for this future. We're growing like crazy, and we have to be prepared for these and many other areas that the county is responsible for providing services to our citizens. So I want to thank our management team for all you're doing to help us get ready for the future of Onslow County. I wanted to mention one program that our economic development partnership is working on. It's in process. It's working now. It's called Boots to Business, and it's a program where veterans who are coming out of the service, of military service, can go. It's the Boots to Business Alliance, and they can go and collaborate with many other entities and partnerships to help them learn how to go into business for themselves. It includes the Veteran Business Collective, Small Business Development and Technical Center, the Small Business Center at the Community College, the Skill Bridge Program, the City of Jacksonville, and also JoEd. So it's a program that's out there. It's free of charge. It's available to any of our veterans who are interested in going into business for themselves when they get out of the service or while they're still they're finishing up their active duty. Thank JoEd for putting that program together. And finally, on a personal note, last week my wife and I celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary. She's put up with me for 40 years. And I do appreciate that.
God bless her.
We work together pretty good most of the time. So thank you all for being here this morning. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Commissioner Bennett. Vice Chairman Knapp?
God bless your wife, Royce, I swear. God bless her.
This is
40 years
so
with you.
true.
So anyway, first of all, I had a train of thought and I just lost it. So give me just a second to clear my head. But I do want to thank the EMS folks, EMT. I think it's very, very deserving. I can't say enough about you guys. I echo what Ms. Carpenter said. You've come to my house several times for various reasons. When my father was alive, he had a couple of issues, and then with my daughter having a couple of seizures, and then my wife setting off the smoke alarm unintentionally, and but you were there lickety-split. So I can't say enough about you guys. A lot of people don't realize the hard work. They're always on call 24/7. That's true. It's just like being in law enforcement or anything else that provides a service to the public. They're always on call. and there's no rest, to be honest with you. And I appreciate everything that you guys do for us, and I'm very appreciative. So you have my heartfelt thank you for what you do. It's always good to see our staff here and our participants, because if you didn't show up, we wouldn't have an audience. But so I just wanted to thank you guys for being here. And I want to thank the elected officials. They're sitting right here in the front row, Amiga, Grant. You guys have always been here, and I think it's important. And it shows that you guys do have an interest in what goes on, because I know you don't have to be here, but you do show up to every meeting, and I just want to let you know I'm very appreciative of that, and I thank you for that, because it shows you're interested in what goes on and some of the decisions we make, and that's encouraging. I just wish we had more people that are elected that would be here, and I didn't mean to forget the sheriff, Sheriff Thomas back there. He's always here, but I wish we had more people that were interested in the BOC meetings. You hear a lot of people complain about what the BOC does, but they don't take the time to come here to find out what we do. And if you don't come out to find out what we do or research what we do, but yet you want to sit there and make comments and criticize certain decisions with no background behind that decision, then the fault's on you. All of us are accessible, that you can call us and ask a question as to why we voted a certain way, or what are the ramifications of this or that. But if you're not here and you don't participate and you don't ask the questions, don't be upset that you don't like the answer. And so that's one of the things that I keep pushing for, more participation from the public, whether it's on G10. I know a lot of people are watching via TV or whatever it might be, and that's good. You can't make it, I understand that. But, you know, before you make a decision about something and what we do as commissioners, because remember, there's 7 of us. Not one commissioner makes a decision. It has to take 4 or more to make a decision. If you have a question about why we made a certain decision, then call us. We'll be more than happy to answer the phone call and more than happy to answer your email or text message or whatever. That's what we get paid to do. That's why we got elected, because we represent all the people here, period, regardless of any other thing. We represent all the people of Onslow County. So I just want that to be said and broadcast out there so people understand. Ask us questions. Be more than happy to answer you. Other than that, thank you to the staff. I echo what Roy said about the strategic plan. If you know, we sit in these workshops as commissioners, but if you sat in the most recent workshops, everything is methodical. Everything is methodical. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a goal. And what I mean by that is, you know, you have to plan ahead, and you have to stick to that plan, and then get briefed as the plan develops. And that's what I've been seeing with the county. And it's very, very promising. It's very encouraging, because we have a goal, we have parameters to operate within, and we're following those parameters, and you can see the end result. Slowly but surely, you can see the end result. And I appreciate the hard work that y'all do. Everything that you do, especially today's workshop, was very informative, very spot on, and some of the briefing material was great. And I just wanted to I'd let you know I appreciate that. And the last thing, for all the NPOs out there, nonprofits, this is the first time during my elected career that we've ever had a workshop where nonprofits came in and talked with us. I mean, we sat around before in the old budget process where we had nonprofits presenting on paper what they were requesting and what the manager recommended, et cetera, and we discussed it there. But never had we, that I can recall, nonprofit representatives come in and speak for about 3 minutes or 2 minutes, whatever it was, you know, kind of giving us their pitch on their particular agency. And that may not be important, but it is to me, because when you see the people talking, you know, in there, physically there, what you see on paper, it makes a big difference. Because you can, you know, if you're going to ask questions and stuff, it's better to have the person there. You can read their body language. You can, you know, read their demeanor. You can understand what they're feeling. So that was very good. I really did enjoy that. You know, I know I had to cut out early, but the first part of that was very, very interesting. And I just want to thank the staff for putting that together. Other than that, you all have fun. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Real quick, Older Americans Month. That was great. Commissioner Price was able to present that proclamation. Thanks for doing that there, Commissioner Price, as your bar's moving and you're getting closer to that bar. Wow. Appreciate that. Thank you. And it really resonated with me a little bit today, is because our Director of Strategic Planning, Angie Hoffman, student of mine back it's been a while, so it's good to see her doing well. And then
40 years old.
Vice President of, let's see what her title is, Senior Vice President, Patient Advocacy and Compliance Officer, Erin Tallman, which when I was at Hunters Creek Middle School, she was too, but she was a student as Erin Reddick. So I feel great about being a part of the Older Americans Month, and it's great to be here to see that. Foster care is such a huge thing. I know several families that have, they started out with these kids in foster care, and they ended up adopting the kids. So that's a great, and I appreciate all the families that are willing to open their homes to foster care, and the importance of giving a strong home for them to be a part of. So that is so important. 80 years of Onslow Memorial Hospital, then finally EMS. There's not many people that in their life is not going to pick up the phone and dial 911. And always thankful that they answer and they dispatch. Someone pulls in your yard and they perform life-saving measures or whatever it is they need to do to take care of you, and then transport you to the hospital for that care to continue. So my hat's off to all the organizations today. We appreciate everything that you do. Commissioner Price didn't mention the art in the library. I think that is important to speak on that again. As our director there, Jennifer Whaley, come up with the idea of thought of bringing the Onslow County Schools and the students' artwork into the library, our main branch. And the significance of that is, I want everyone to listen to this part. Not sure exactly how many students were recognized and their art put on the walls, but I asked the question of those students. Raise your hand if this is the first time you've been in the public library because your art is going on the walls. 95%, if not 98%, raised their hand. It was the first time they'd been into the public library. It is important to get our kids reading and get them in the libraries, because knowledge is power, and it starts on the written word and the pages. So get your kids into the public library and reading. With that being said, we need to have a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of going into a closed session?
Aye.
Aye. So we are going into closed session, and those that want to stick around, we'll be back in a little bit.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Where's Walter? Oh, there he is.
All right, so we've returned. We have a motion to adjourn, a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Break.